Segment 1, Text-Based Overture, Introduction. The focus, the subject of this video is and will be Rush's song, Closer to the Heart, and its poignant, heartfelt and well-intentioned lyrics and the significance it has to me. My relationship and connection with this particular Rush song has been a long appreciated one. This song is one of my all-time favorite songs by Rush, one of my all-time favorite bands. Closer to the Heart is a song that impacted me from the moment I first heard it. It continues to inspire me to strive for higher ground, towards and or into a deeper connection, a deeper understanding, not only for and with myself but also for and with those around me, including nature and its relationship with all creation, in all its shapes and forms. What can I say about Neil Peart and his songwriting, arranging and lyric writing abilities? The man, the professor, Brother Neil, was a great writer, period. He is greatly missed by all of us who respected and admired what he did as a musician and as a fellow human being. And though the music helps express the angst, the desire, the emotions, the questioning, the intention, and the wisdom contained within the words and the melodies attached to this and many other Rush songs, unfortunately, in my opinion it did not do so at the same level in their latter work, mostly due to their change in sound and musical attitude adjustments made along the way. Also, I feel Geddy's gradually diminishing vocal abilities, which heavily affected his voice tone and range, seem to have not helped when those changes begin to occur, and even though their song-writing process results were not as good as before, the lyrics never lost their importance and their relevance to the time, the circumstance and the moments they were written and inspired by. For these just stated reasons, I consider all of their albums timepieces. As for me, they all represent periods and or moments in time I lived through myself. At times certain particular musical instruments and musical styles and or influences are audibly noticeable, as they were all part of Rush's creative process in those periods. Segment 2, How Rush's great new drummer, Neil Peart, became Rush's main song lyricist. After auditioning, and getting picked by Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson, Neil Peart became a member of Rush just before they were scheduled to go out and promote their first album, which is the only Rush album Neil is not on. Neil would eventually go on to be considered by many, including myself, to be the greatest rock drummer of all time. While on the road, touring with his new band, his bandmates saw how much he read, how he spoke and the words Neil used. They recognized the possible ability in him to help with and or write lyrics for their upcoming, as of yet not composed, still unwritten, upcoming songs. All this was similarly stated by Geddy Lee on Rush's 2010 documentary, Rush, Beyond the Lighted Stage. Some of those first song lyrics by Neil would end up, accompanied by great music, in Rush's second album, Fly By Night. Neil turned out to be quite an excellent lyricist. And even though Neil didn't write the lyrics for all of Rush's songs from that moment on, he would do so for the majority of them. When he did so, the words were credited as being written by Neil all by himself. Closer to the Heart, from Rush's fifth album, A Farewell to Kings, is an exception, for its lyrics were written in collaboration with Peter Talbot. It was Neil's first collaboration of such type at that time. While this video focuses mainly on the lyrics of this great song, Closer to the Heart's accompanying music is just as good. The vocal melody and the instrumentation and playing behind it are all top level. Segment 3, Pre-Analysis Info. Before we start, the following lyrical analysis is based on and comes from the point of view of someone who has been listening to music since the late 70s, who began writing poetry a few years before that. I would later, as I got older, began to focus on deeper spiritual thought writing, inspired first by deep meaningful songs, then by books, movies and documentaries. I even self-published a book in English and in Spanish in the mid-2000s. In the early 80s I also played bass in a few rock cover bands. I was introduced to Rush a few months before their Moving Pictures album was released, as a friend of mine shared with me a radio broadcast taped recording of one of their live performances during their Permanent Waves tour. The Rush song that I remember listening to that quickly took a hold of me was a live version of Natural Science. Months later, when my friend played the Moving Pictures album on his stereo for me, I was in. I bought that album, went to see them perform live in concert during the album's tour. I would do the same for the next two albums as well. Having stated all that, let's take a look at those lyrics now. Wait a tick. Hold on. I need to state and clarify something before proceeding any further, and that is that even though I deeply connect with many of Rush's songs and they hold a place in my heart, memory and mind, I am someone who appreciates their music and their musicianship. However, I am not a Rush fanatic, a fan, addict. I am not obsessed with Rush. I do not put them on a pedestal and treat them like gods and claim that all their songs are great and or perfect, for they are not. Well then, let's get started with the actual lyric analysis. Segment 4, Song Lyric Analysis. All the verses of this song end, or close with the phrase, closer to the heart, which could be thought of as a chorus, perhaps, though to me it seems not to be so. If there is a chorus in this song, I would assume it comes in on the song's last verse at the second closer to the heart phrase following the sailing into destiny bit, or at the well closer to the heart part. Verse 1. The first verse seems to be, on the surface, a verse about those in certain positions, in high places and their obligation to begin to steer a new reality towards the heart, perhaps referring to politicians. However, this could surely also apply to anyone in a position of direct influence, a father, a mother, an uncle, an older sibling, those we look up to, who have the ability to mold and shape us, can certainly show us by example a way to get closer to the heart, to a deeper relation with what dwells within us that knows the truth. Verse 2. The second verse reminds us, points out to us how blacksmiths and artists, as well as others, have the ability to forge, engrave their essence, their expression, their art upon and or onto material surfaces for others to see and perhaps be inspired by, kind of like what this song attempts to do, which it does so, and very well. Neil would later on write and bring to life along with Alex and Geddy a song that focuses on artistic expression as it relates to the music industry and its treatment of it. The Spirit of Radio is the song I'm referring to in case you hadn't deduced it yet. Unlike pseudo-artistic expression, which is empty of any vital substance, true art can connect with the heart and inspire one to be creative. Verse 3. The third verse sings to us and focuses on those who disperse seeds, be they of wisdom, in the case of philosophers, who do this metaphorically, symbolically, or with actual seeds, like plowmen or farmers do, who by doing so help bring crops to life, both of whom need to be aware of the importance of their roles. These two vital players need to toss, to repeat, to remind us with their voice, their words, their toil, as they continue to sprinkle their seeds in the air, into the hearts of others and or onto the earth, the soil, if human beings are to return, to continue and head inwards in their thoughts in a closer relation with the heart, the soul. Yes, a philosopher and a plowman dwells within each of us. This knowledge and behavior is instinctive and or second nature to us all. Verse 4. The last verse focuses on those whose roles are to steer, to guide, like a captain and someone who draws charts, which is what sea maps are called, and or one who creates plans or ways to accomplish a set goal in a cooperative manner, or maybe it just refers to the assignment of roles and duties of one or more who embark on a similar destination, in this case towards the center, the core of the heart, the core of the being. Just as the preceding verses contain labels placed upon certain roles active in modern society, those in high places, a blacksmith, an artist, a philosopher, a plowman, a captain and a planner, these labels, these titles seem to speak of those outside of us. These however can easily be placed upon any human being, as it is up to each of us to be one, some or a bit of all of them if we are to nudge and remind others of the need to be closer to the heart. The best way to achieve this is with our actions, our behaviors, the way we approach our life and our relationship with ourselves and with all that surrounds us. Final segment, sensitive, open, and strong. And so Rush music appreciators, what kind of message can this song and its lyrics communicate to us on a deeper level, on a soul level or higher level, or however you choose to name or label it? Speaking for myself, closer to the heart reminds me how important it is to remain close to the heart itself, to the being, for this very act can help provide us with a deeper comprehension and appreciation of who we truly are. In comparison to this, if we place our trust solely on the divisive limiting mind programming and deconstructive ways of society, we will surely lose our way and become another cog in the machine, a dull complying, obedient facsimile of every other unoriginal subdivided character we see out there who's been taken in by salesmen. The heart, the soul, unlike the efforts of a mind-based society which continually promotes limitation, division and fear, which turns unaware beings into personas, voices behind a mask and or pseudo-human beings, your higher self is always waiting to walk beside you and guide you towards what is true for you and your true natural state of being. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to view this video. If you liked it, please like, comment and or make any suggestions below, subscribe and tell others about it.